How many of you are going to work, going to school, study, feeling absolutely zonked, feeling physically, emotionally, and mentally drained, almost feeling like a zombie? And it's no surprise really, we're living in a society these days where we're taught to push through the grind, suck it up, and just keep going through the pain. And this is almost promoted in the world that we're living in. So it's no surprise that a lot of people are finding themselves with symptoms of sickness, high level stress, and lethargy. Okay? No surprise at all. So today I want to talk about the 3 pillars to finding balance in our life. And that's the first one being nutrition, second being fitness or moving the body, and the last one being the sleep. Okay, so they're the 3 pillars. And I want to start with nutrition first. So we're going to try a little exercise, and that is don't think of chocolate cake. Whatever you do, do not think of chocolate cake. Don't think of it. Put it out of your mind. Don't think of it. And what did you notice? Well, most likely, if you've got a human brain, you probably thought of chocolate cake. And why does that happen? Well, the brain is very good at persisting what we resist. So if we're not going to think of something, we're more likely to get hooked by that thought and actually think of it. Okay? Now we're going to try something a little bit different. Instead of thinking, don't think of chocolate cake, what we're going to say to ourselves or think in our mind, I'm just having the thought that I want chocolate cake. I'm just having the thought that I want chocolate cake. Now, what did you notice? You probably noticed that this actually lightened the load. So instead of getting hooked to the thought, don't think of something, we realised that we do have a human brain, and this brain likes to get absorbed. So we place the thought next to us by saying, I'm having the thought that, to give it some space, to take it away from us. We haven't got rid of it. It's still there. It's just we're not getting hooked by the thought now. Okay? Because we know that the thoughts, they're going to happen. They're like clouds in the sky. They constantly come. We can't stop that. But we can control how much time and energy we want to spend into that. Now, I'm a big advocate of the 80-20 rule when it comes to nutrition. So what is the 80-20 rule with nutrition? It means 80% of our foods come from whole foods such as fruits, your vegetables, your whole grains and that kind of thing, okay? More natural products. And that means the other 20% comes from things like chocolate cake, like what we talked about before, maybe chips and other sweets, okay? Ice cream, it's a good one. Now what that does is that's a great way to create some balance into our life with nutrition. It means that we can go to that birthday party and have that piece of cake with our friends and family and not feel guilty and shame at the end of it because we've allowed for it in that 20%, right? All right, so that's a little hack for nutrition. Now we're going to move on to the second pillar, which is fitness. Now when we're choosing something regarding our physical health, in terms of moving our body and fitness, it's really important that whatever we do, we enjoy. And the reason being is if we enjoy the activity, we're more likely to stick to it, okay? Because great physical health and moving the body, it's not necessarily how hard we're pushing. It's about consistency and just showing up. That's the main thing, all right? And if we enjoy what we're doing, if we love what we're doing, the brain's less likely to bring up all these thoughts of why we shouldn't be doing that thing. Because if we enjoy it, it's got no reason to make those excuses, okay? So I invite you to think of maybe a sport or an activity that you haven't tried before, that you wouldn't mind giving it a go. All right, and just remember, exercise is different for everyone. What someone enjoys is different for everyone. So, it could be playing football or netball or a sport like that. Could be walking with a friend, walking the dog, riding the bike, even doing maybe 200 burpees a day. There's some absolute sickos out there that actually enjoy burpees, but hey, that's them. They might actually enjoy it. All right, so that's fitness. That's the second pillar. Now we're going to move on to the third pillar, and that is sleep. All right. Now, if you've got a human brain like me, you most likely go to bed with 101 thoughts running through the mind, going round and round and round. It might have been, I can't believe I said that thing to that person. I can't believe I made that mistake at work. What's everyone going to think of me? Round and round and round. All right. So the mind's developed this really, really incredible thing, and that is to try and solve unsolvable problems. Because thousands of years ago, people that thought about these problems were more likely to survive. All right? So the brain hasn't changed much in thousands of years. It's just the topics have changed. Okay? So the mind still thinks it needs to solve these unsolvable problems. You know, it's kind of like if you take your dog to a park and there's an ice creamery opposite, and you think, wow, I wouldn't mind, you know, it might be in the 20%. You might go, well, I really want to get that, you know, get that ice cream and then come back and keep walking. All right, you've allowed for it, looking forward to it. So you tie your dog to the tree, go to get your ice cream, you come back, and the dog's gone round and round and round, trying to get out of this, you know, out of this leash. Okay, so it's gone round and round, it's tied itself to the tree, it's got stuck. Now that dog was just trying to solve the problem. It didn't enjoy being tied up, lost its freedom. It thought, I'm going to try and solve this problem, going round and round and round, then it gets stuck. Very similar to the human brain here. All right, we go round and round and round, trying to solve an unsolvable problem, and then we get stuck ourselves. Okay? So sometimes it's just easier to be aware and to acknowledge that, yeah, like this is difficult, but you know, it's easier just to let it be. So a good way to help us when we go to bed to help us sleep at night is to actually get a piece of paper and to write all the worries, all the thoughts onto a piece of paper, onto something tangible, okay? And then place it on our bedside table or on the floor. So very similar to the exercise we did in the nutrition, we're finding a way from getting hooked to actually separating ourselves from the thoughts and the worries. All right? And then, once we do that, we have a lot more time and energy to spend on something more beneficial. And what does that look like? Well, we can spend it on something that's really healthy for our parasympathetic nervous system, which is focusing on our breath. All right? So that's when we're lying down, breathing in through our nose for a few seconds, into the belly like a balloon, and then exhaling for as long as we can through our mouth. All right? And that's all we're doing. We know that we don't have to try and solve unsolvable problems that the brain brings up. We can thank the brain for bringing them up, because it'll still happen, because our brains become so good with it. The brain's like a professional at overthinking and worrying, okay? We can thank the brain for trying to look after us in this situation, but then reassure it that, hey, we've actually made a plan here. All the thoughts and worries are on that piece of paper, and bring our mind back onto the breath. And this is actually a form of mindfulness, so we're unintentionally doing meditation here. All right? So that's the 3 pillars. I hope this has helped, and I invite you today to think of those 3 pillars and think to yourself, is there 1, 2, or 3 of those that I really need to work on? And I invite you to think of maybe using these exercises to finding a bit more balance in your lifestyle, so that we can show up for ourselves, for the people around us and the things that we're doing, feeling like we've got a bit more energy and a bit more balance. Thanks for watching.